There it is.
That's my dance.
Welcome, everyone. We are finally here. We are on week 12. With me today, I have Tara Melton and Jessica Hyde. How are y'all?
Good.
Great.
How are
Great.
you?
Exciting. We're
Great.
issuing the last gauntlet today, right?
Yeah, yeah. Tara's going to issue out this last challenge for everybody. But I tell you what, I've just been kind of thinking back, and time has flown by this fall. I mean, I can't believe we started with Android, Linux, like that seems forever ago, and now,
Yes.
yeah, we're in memory. But time is flying. We have today on the agenda, we are going to review the Week 10 challenge that Jamie Tubbs issued out. So actually, let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna cut to Jamie reviewing his questions from Week 10, and then we'll be right back.
I
Let's
hope
go.
you all have had a great week. And with us again, we have Jamie sharing his solve for the week 10 challenge. So take it away, Jamie, if you want to share your screen.
Yeah, I sure do. I had a lot of fun while I'm sharing my screen. I had a lot of fun with this challenge because one, I've already told you, I'm a RAM junkie, and I enjoy RAM as a whole and RAM investigations because I consider it like a puzzle you got to solve, and it's not just nothing's just handed to you in RAM.
Absolutely.
But Axiom makes it a lot easier. I don't know what you use to solve it, and that's what I always find interesting is that everybody solves their puzzle or their exam a different way, right? And that's the beauty of doing these type of challenges. We get to see each other and how uh,
Yes.
specifically how you did it versus how I did it. Because I might learn something from you, you might learn something from me.
I've
I'm
learned
I'm
so much from
issuing.
these blogs.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like I'm issuing the challenge, but make no doubt, I don't think I'm end all be all RAM dude. I just enjoyed as much as you folks do. So, you could have been the one to issue the challenge. Honestly, I mean, it could be anybody, but I got the lucky draw to be able to partake in this, and I'm really gonna to show you how it's done. But I'm really gonna enjoy showing you how it's done. So let's just start with that. All right, so I'm going to use Axiom to do all of mine. Obviously, we're integrated with volatility. You can do this by many different ways, but we'll start with Axiom as a whole. So my question was, just to repeat the question, was at the time of the RAM collection. So let's go and just take a quick look at the time of the RAM collection. Even though I did give it to you, it's easier if we just take a look at it. So if I go to memory, and then under the memory, I'll look at image info, and we can see that the image info here was taken at 20 April 23, 23, 26. So if this is the time that the RAM image was taken, then that's going to give us an indicator that everything that's in UTC time, right, that we're going to be talking about, also can tell us what was going on at that time, because that'll be the time that it was up and running and the RAM image was taken. So a snapshot, if you will, of time. So what was the port that was open? What were the ports? Because we don't know which one's which yet, that was up and running. So well, how can I do that? Well, NetScan is one of the memory modules within volatility that we port in through Axiom as well. So let's take a look, and I can just do state, and you could just cycle down and sort and browse down if you wanted to, but I'm just going to filter on the column for established. So because I did say it was an established connection,
Jamie,
and we have
is this a Google server question?
this is.
All
Yeah,
right.
sorry. You won't know it's a Google server here, so I haven't gotten there yet. But
It was in
yes,
the question. You asked it
it,
in the question.
it was. But other than the fact that I said it, so that's what I'm trying to go now is how do you know which one of these was
Right.
was was the Google server? So that's where we're gonna have to go. But anyway, so to repeat the question, at the time of the RAM collection, there was an established connection to a Google server. So okay, great. What was the IP address? So it can only be one of these four because they're all established connections. So you could have, just done a swag at this and said it's this one. But how I did this was open up a browser, of your choosing. I'm going to go with Chrome, and I'm going to say, let's go to my favorite. You guys might use a different one, but I'm going to use centralops.net for domain dossier, and for me, this works. So we could choose any one of these. I'll go ahead and grab that remote IP address because I'm not concerned with the internal IP address. So I'm going to take the port number off of it too, because the port number is not important for me when I'm looking at what's the server address. So, and if I hit go on the domain dossier, I'm basically just doing a whois check and some other checks going on. Now this comes back to not Google. It comes back to Fastly, Skyka 3, so not them. So okay, so let's go check another one. We could keep going on. Just go to the very next one. I'll grab it. chances are good if you'll see that it's a 443. Obviously, we know that's that secured connection, right? Or it's on our port for secured. So we'll just go back here, pop that one in, take off the 443 port number, and we get a Google LLC. So how do we do that? We ran centralops.net. All of our established connections, we want to know who our computer was talking to at the time that we took it down. This is our way to get that. Okay, so a little bit inside of Axiom, a little bit outside of Axiom on CentralOps. So it also asks what was the local IP address or port number for that one. Now that we know which one was Google, we can then just read this 192.168.10.146 port number 54282. And that would be the question number 2. Question number 3. What was the actual URL? Like, okay, the server was Google, but there's Google Drive, there's Google Docs, there's a lot of Google whatever. So how do we find out what that was? Well, we know you have to kind of do an investigative prowess here. You know that the time that this was taken down was the 20 April 20, 23, 23, 26. So what we can do from here, I'll just clear my filters. I'm going to go to any of the web browsing history that we've carved out of the memory, and I'll just choose web related. And I'll go to the closest one. I could have done a relative time filter if I wanted to, but I don't have a relative time yet, or at least I didn't on the IP, the established connections. So what I can do here is I'll go to date and time. Again, this was April, so I'm going to go back to April 20, April of 20. And then what time are we concerned with? This was 23:23, so we'll 23 and 23. Sorry, we're on a PM AM thing here. So 11 p.m., 11:23 p.m. And then it's asking me, do I want to use the same range before and after? I'm not interested in what happened after 23:23. 23:23:26, because the RAM image was already taken at that point. So I really want to know what happened before that. So I can just say take off the starting is 0, so no minutes after, sorry, and let's just do 15 minutes before. What stuff was going on 15 minutes before? Hit go. So we come up with quite a bit of refined results, and then we web related, and then there's some memory and some operating system information stuff here as well. I'll just pop those open just to show. And it says the specific question was, what was the URL? So if we look through these URLs to try to find out, we can sort by date and time would probably be the best way to do this, because I want the one that's closest to the 23:23, right? If you browse through this, just to kind of skip fast forward, if you go to web history carved, you'll see that this Google, I would do another search here. Let's just go ahead and do that one. Get everything else out. So I'm just going to do a search for Google at the top. It reduces it down to 27 hits instead of 3,000. And again, the beauty of axioms in the filtering and searching, right, more than anything else. Here we have two. One was myaccount.google at 23/17/31, so they looked at their account somewhat. And then after that, they went to the standard google.com with nothing else. So my answer to that third question is https://www.google.com. And my time would be 20 April 20, 23:17:33. So looking at this.
Okay, so we've got the URL. What's next?
So we have what user was responsible for this activity. So I want to basically pin it's always the time honored tradition of putting the bad guy in the chair, right? Like I got to know who actually was sitting there. Now, this isn't going to do that. But what this is going to allow me to do is have a starting place to try to find out what other stuff was in there. Now, we know he was in Google. Was he signed into Google? I don't know. We've got to find out who he is. Might be she, might be they. I don't know. Could be more than one person. But let's figure out right now who is responsible, as far as we know, for this activity. So we have our 2317 Google. So what else was happening around 2317, right? So let's refine our results for everything that happened within a minute of this 2317. And maybe we can come up with some more internet activity and find out which specific area this is coming from, which browser it's coming from. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out everything. And just remember 2317, because I'll just use a full minute there. I'll clear filters completely. Date and time, I'll use another relative time filter. 20 April, 2317, it's already set up for me. Look at that. I'll choose just 1 minute on either side, because I want to grab, what was happening 1 minute before, 1 minute after. Okay, so let's run that. If we go into memory, we could take a look. Is there anything in prefetch? Well, there's nothing that tells me which browser, because the question, or sorry, which profile, because the question is which profile was on, right? I was hoping to maybe find some, as you guys probably were too, some potentially some operating system artifacts that had something to do with some event logs, maybe of logins and whatnot. And I could do that too. I could look at who logged in, who was the most recent login prior to 2317, and I could do that if there was enough logins, looking for 4624 and 4625 for logon and whatnot for a user. But I didn't decide to go down that route, because just because they logged in doesn't mean they were the one using the web. So if I go in here and I look at this timeliner, and I'll just fast forward to it, because you could look here basically all day, and I look for I'll just sort of quick fast forward to it, because you guys have probably already found it anyway. But I'll fast forward to that time, and I'll find this process of Chrome running. So I'm going to just sort by the item name instead of running it through this, and this is the one I'm looking for right here, April 20th, 2317:07, same time. Same exact time as our Google time, I might add. Google time was 2317:07. So now I show a Chrome activity at 2317:07 as well. And if you keep going across for this user assist Chrome entry, you'll see that this was the user profile of Warren, Warren. So Warren's my boy. So you're my boy, Blue. All right, so the last one on this, the last question was, what was the amount of time that this person had used this browser since the last install of the browser? And it's answered actually right here in the same artifact. Is if you go over to the right, I can open up my details card as well. That would make sense. And you'll see here that the focus time, this is associated with this time focused. The focus time is 3 hours, 36 minutes, 47 seconds, 301 nanoseconds. Wow. So to be very, very specific, there's your amount of time he spent looking at it. So if he says, Warren, says, I don't use Chrome, I don't know what you're talking about. Really? Because you've used it for 3 hours and 36 minutes and 47 seconds and 301 nanoseconds since the last install of Chrome. And we can see that pulling it out of the memory. Why? Because the registry for the computer is loaded into RAM, not only for the system SAM software and security, but also for the intuser.dat and the user class.dat, and those remediate back to the actual user. This is coming from, because it's user assist, is coming from the intuser.dat for Warren himself.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And there are other ways you could have solved it if you thought of it, right? Extracting into user.dat and then running it through memory, through regular registry tools. But this is awesome. I love it. It's right there in that same line. So much information right there in just that timeline plugin. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that we've now ported the contents of the export from volatility. We've ported it into, we've been doing this for a while. I say we just did it. We didn't. We've done it a long time ago, but ported it into Axiom so that it goes into the SQL database, so we can query it in any kind of way. We can utilize the time filtering. We can utilize connections. We can utilize, you can see here, there's the connections on the mem dump. There's a relative time filter on that 2317:17. I was doing things the hard way. If I'd been on that Google, I could have just clicked on this and it would have set my 2317:17 here and just choose that. So yeah, I mean, it's all about getting through the backlog faster and finding, we have a list of backlog. Let's just get through it. And if this is one of those easy ways.
I think one of the key things there was being able to see the web parsed carved results and pivoting straight from those carved results right to the timeline plugin for memory. So just being able to have both of those in that same interface and being able to quickly do that time filter, just really cool.
I totally agree, because the memory forensics itself, if you just do the volatility, you get 48,000 artifacts. That's pretty impressive, right? But then you carve it for everything and you end up with another 4,000 plus, 4,600 additional artifacts that you wouldn't get without some sort of tool like Axiom to pull this out. So I mean, I'm not trying to, I do obviously I work for Magnet, but it's not, I'm not trying to say that, it's the only way to do it because it's
No,
never,
it's
never one.
definitely not. There's lots of different ways to solve this problem, but it is kind of neat for people who aren't familiar or haven't played with it, being
That's
able
really,
to see all that stream carved content, which Axiom's really good at, alongside several of those memory plugins to be able to do the analysis together. It's kind of cool.
yeah. I
But
mean, you
thank you.
can go in here. It's not part of the challenge, but look, you go in here in Google searches and look at search terms that they previously searched in Google. When? Back in February and March. Like this machine wasn't running back to February and March. Like it's coming into from memory, right? So if memory was all you had, you could make this work. What previous devices were a part of this computer? You can start taking a look at that. It's amazing the stuff you can carve from RAM. And if you're not used to doing RAM investigations, the one thing I would leave you with is it never ceases to amaze me. No matter how many years I do RAM investigations, it never ceases to amaze me the different types of data that you can find in RAM and the amount of data you can find in RAM. It's crazy.
I mean, seriously, Windows event logs being in RAM is just awesome. Every single time, and you didn't even go that way, but to figure out that Warren was the profile, you could have looked at the last logins to figure that out. And I just love the way that you can combine those operating system artifacts, those internet-based artifacts, and just combine them together. It's so cool. Thanks for a great challenge, Jamie.
Yeah, awesome. I look forward to seeing what's happening during the rest of the challenges because I'm following that as well. So appreciate you all and I hope you enjoyed the challenge.
And we are back. I hope everyone learned something from Jamie's challenges. I know we got a lot of questions during his 5-part series, which I think we all kind of learned something from as well. But very exciting stuff. But now we are moving on to week 12. So to start, as always, Tara, do you want to issue out the trivia question?
Sure. So we have this online merchandise store, the Magnet Merchandise Store, that the benefits proceed different charities. So the question is, what is the charity that we are supporting at the moment here? If you purchase through the Magnet Merchandise Store,
And I just want to
I'm
call out, yeah,
I
Jess
was
is
hoping you would bring that up, Jess. Look
modeling,
what
yeah,
Jess.
this
modeling
is
the Capture the Flag shirt.
So you can
I
go to
bought
the Magnet Merchandise Store and purchase one of those lovely shirts to commemorate our time together during this Magnet Weekly CTF, and the proceeds will benefit a particular charity.
And I've got to say, I bought this on Giving Tuesday. So all the proceeds went there. And actually, if you like the sweatshirt, I don't even know if you realize that the sweatshirt you're wearing today is also there. I know you got it before it was on
I
the
got it a long
merchandise
time ago. I
store,
didn't even think about it,
but
but yeah, I did get this
but
at the Magnet Merchandise Store too.
that sweatshirt is also
Yeah,
available there.
go check
And
it
I
out
will
and
say
support the charity.
our random weekly winners that have been in the month 2 and month 1 write-ups, this would be the shirt that y'all would be getting. So make sure that y'all are responding so we can get those out to you, as well as obviously the monthly winners and the grand prize winner will probably also get one of these shirts as
Mhm.
well. Quite frankly, I'm a little upset with myself. I haven't ordered one yet, so I need to get on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that today.
Yeah.
I'll say I also I'll talk about the stuff that I've bought from there. I like the glossy mugs. I have the Gray Key Magnet Forensics one, and it changes color. And I also have the Virtually Together mug. You may have seen me drinking out of these during catch up.
Great. Well, first person to respond in the Discord will get their plus 5 points. So let's go ahead and week 12. What is your last challenge question of the Magnet Weekly CTF?
All right, so I just want to warn you, this is the last challenge, so there is only one attempt allowed, so make sure that you are sure about the answer
Ooh.
that you are putting in. So this is going to wrap up the week 12 final challenge. So the question is, what is the PID, the process ID of the application where you might learn how hackers hack and how to stop them, in quotes. So
All right, there you go.
make sure you're sure about your answer before you put it in because you only get one attempt.
Don't message us asking for more attempts.
Nope. No, the scores are really close for the top spots. So yeah, we'll definitely we don't want to give out additional attempts and all, but yeah, people are closing in on who's going to be number one, and so we'll see if we get any more artifacts submitted, and you will have up until the end of December to submit your artifact, because we're going to have to validate those and get them posted. But with that, that kind of leads us to discussing next steps for the CTF. So we need to review Lynn's question, and obviously we're going to need to review Tara's question for weeks 11 and 12. So on January 4th, we're going to be sending out an invite to everybody who has participated, both on the magnet side as well as the special people that we've had as well. Aaron Sparling, Ali Hadi. We're going to have everyone join us on Zoom, where we're going to review those questions. We're going to announce the grand prize winner along with the December winner, and then we're just gonna chat. And honestly, there might be a new challenge coming up of sorts. It's not a CTF, let me be clear, but Jess has been working on something that's going to debut in January. So I think you're gonna all want to tune into that. I'm really
And
excited about this one.
they might have been developing skills throughout the CTF that would assist them in this.
Yep. So we've got something brand new coming out that we will talk about on January 4th. So, like I said, stay tuned for an email, as well as I'll have something in the Discord and something on the CTF site as well for that. But make sure y'all are getting your artifacts in, make sure you're getting your blogs done, because the points are going to really matter for these last couple of weeks with that. So I'm really excited. We are coming to an end, but it's been pretty awesome. But with that, before we go any further, Jess, who do you have on Cash Up this week?
You know what? Speaking of the fact that some of you might be in your lull of doing CTF things and you may be looking for a challenge, the Sans holiday hack as KringleCon, kringlecon.com, is now going on from now till January 4th. So if you don't want to, and somebody who's very involved on the digital forensic side of that CTF that encompasses a lot of different InfoSec fields is Mary Ellen Kennel. And she will be our guest on Tuesday. And not only does she do that, she's one of the founders of About DFIR. She has her own amazing blog on digital forensic stuff. She's written the IR A to Z. Mary Ellen is incredible. If you didn't know, I believe she also did an original vocal for the KringleCon. So if you're checking out the new CTF, make sure that you're also checking out Mary Ellen and our great chat tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. That's
Excellent.
awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, with that, we are wrapping up week 12. Well, excuse me, week 11, going into week 12. And make sure that, yeah, you get your points in for, getting that trivia. And make sure you get your shirt. And yeah, we'll see you January 4th for the grand prize winners. And yeah, having a good time on Zoom. So thank y'all.
Good luck, everybody.
See ya.
You would say good luck. One chance.
Good luck.